Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and today we're talking Desperado. This is a job that I kind of ignored in my initial playthrough because I honestly didn't think it was very good because inherently to me, trying to afflict status ailments is kind of weak for a couple reasons. One, they're kind of weak in this game in the sense that you can only have two status ailments on them. You can have a damaging one and a restrictive one. If you try to apply, like if you have a opponent that's bleeding and then you burn them, the burn will replace the bleed. And so you're not actually really gaining that much ground. So that kind of sucks. But also, if you're just doing a weaker attack to try and get a status ailment, in my opinion, like typically that's going to be just weaker than using a more powerful attack because the secondary effect could just miss. And then you're just doing less damage than you would have. However, if you're doing around the same amount of damage, it's actually not that bad. If you're doing basically the same amount of damage with a chance to do a really good secondary effect, I think that could be pretty good, which is kind of why I've come around on this. But the real reason that I've completely come around on it, other than the badass outfit and the cool attack animation, is its ultimate weapon. Boost the crit rate to enemies by 30% per ailment. So you can get up to 2 ailments on an enemy. That brings you up to a 60% crit chance. But wait, if you get this to plus 10 and you make your Seal of Anguish boost critical rate by 20% per status ailment on an enemy, that means you have a 50% crit chance per status ailment. You can have 2. I think that means you have a guaranteed crit on enemies on all your skills. That is pretty badass. Guaranteed crits are very hard to ensure. So, I mean, I would say impossible. So this is the only way I could think of that you could guarantee crits. So this means that when you're doing all your damage, you know, your damage ups, your defense downs, this is also getting an additional damage boost of crits. So I think this could be the highest potential damage dealer in the game, especially because with your other 2 upgrades here, you can get a increase your crit damage and increase your piercing, blunt, whatever your main damage type's going to be, just to go all in on the damage. So let's take a look at the skills that I think are good. And, we'll take a look at the skills and what skills I think are worth inheriting on this class in general. So as far as I kind of want to go with inherited first. I actually don't think there's that many important ones to inherit. Yeah, you can get things that do chances to bleed or like have a chance to do, this one can blind, this one could do this one could do that, but you already kind of do all that stuff. So typically what I would probably do is I would grab some, basically you want your teammates, in my opinion, to be applying the debuffs and stuff for being trying to. That way you could just go all in with your damage as soon as you can. So you kind of just want like the highest damage ability you could find, right? Find something that says extreme on it. Like, I mean, then again, maybe just Essence of Pistol, right? The skill never misses. Maybe you don't need to find anything that has like a guarantee crit or anything like that, right? This has a guaranteed crit, but you already have the guaranteed crit, and you have a guaranteed crit on any attack you want. So find something that is like really, really powerful. Maybe this one also just potentially leaves them stunned. But also, besides the ones that are like... So, actually, the Samurai has one where if you get bleed as one of the 2 things that are on them, it's an extreme attack that does more damage, and you're going to get a guaranteed crit on it. That's pretty nuts. I actually haven't leveled Samurai, and I'm curious. I'm just now realizing how crazy powerful that would be. So, get that. Get the Shadow Slash, the Shadow Cleave. I think that one's going to be pretty much insane. Other than that, things like I don't think these are that important. I think you could rely on teammates for these in more of a team build. I would get like a super insane damaging ability, like the Shadow Dance or whatever it's called. And then I would kind of go with the support stuff. Just having backup healer, backup abilities to, get rid of status ailments. I think that kind of stuff is pretty good just to have in general, because I feel like you only really need like 1 attack, 2 attacks, and other than that, I think like you've kind of got just a pretty good setup on the guy already. You kind of have the Desperado kind of wants to blind enemies, or sorry, silence enemies, so that could be pretty good as well. I'm actually going to get rid of the self-healing effect here. I don't think it's that good, and I think I'm going to get the for the sake of this, I'll get Shadow Cleave, because I want to use it, but you should use a more powerful one. I like the ability to lower defense. I like having a grapple, but the one I actually want here is the Cali sticks. You just have a chance to lower stuff. I like being able to raise your own attack power in between turns. I think all that kind of stuff is pretty good. Oh, also, get the double your next physical attack on the action star here. Who has the action star leveled up? I might not have any characters with the action star leveled up. I'm still in the process of leveling up everything on everyone, but they have your next physical damage deals twice as much. Get that, and then use the extreme bleeding shadow cleave and just set up the most insane combo. We're gonna do a weaker version of it, but just imagine that the damage is doubled. Now, as far as the job itself, what are its good abilities? I mean, mostly they're gonna be the ones down here. None of these are actually. We're gonna go to. I know it's kind of weird, but if we go to a different character, I like going to skill inheritance because it'll actually show me what the abilities do. So we're gonna actually switch his job to something else, so that way I could look at the specific abilities. We're gonna switch him to a host. Yep. And then we'll switch them back in a second. But now if we go to skill inheritance, we can actually look at the specific abilities instead of like exactly what they do instead of the abbreviated ones. So like there's this whole like aspect of trying to silence enemies, and that's like the physical, you know, the fist, the and then the wild sweep here. The issue is these are both grapples, which can be good, but if an enemy can't be grappled, that means you can't use this and you can't really silence them. Kind of weird, but their ultimate is basically like, if enemies have been silenced, you do even more damage. I think the bleeding angle is probably better, but this is more of a self-contained kit. This is an extreme single target with a chance of outright KOing them, but I still think the bleed is probably better. However, if they're not bleeding, you just get something else on them. You get charm and burn or something, or you get burn and blind because those are easier to land. Then this is going to be something that's really, really good in that situation. Most of these other abilities are like fine, but none of their abilities are super insane. Like, because for me, this character is almost a combo character. It's not about actually using a turn to try to sleep them, using a turn to try to burn them, try to leave them poisoned, try to, you know, do this stuff. For me, I actually think this build is all about setup, explosion, right? First turn, war cry, or if you want to have teammates, you know, you have a build around boosting it, like you could use a summon, you could use another character, so you could do something like that. So if you don't do first turn war cry, then do the first turn action star one where you double the action of your next attack, and then have someone try to have two characters try to do status ailments, and then your turn comes around and then you want to blow them up. So I think it's like a combo character more than anything, but that's I honestly think this character is going to be kind of nuts. So let's switch back. Also, you're looking real fly in that. Also, it's a very, very fun character to use in the aspect that they shoot their gun. It's fun when this is the only class I think of that doesn't melee. I mean, maybe someone throws something, I guess, but it's not the same. It's not as cool. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, you already put it on. Thank you. All right, so we're just going to jump in here because, well, I have to do this anyway. New game. We are on New Game Plus Legendary difficulty. So these enemies are, I mean, I'm not going to say they're super rough, but they are a high level.
What is that?
Let's go find something to fight. Let's go kick the shit out of something. Yeah, this is going to be the one time there's no enemies, isn't there? Hey, there you go. Thank you for coming through. Oh, there's enemies in this room. You could already tell. How do I know that? I didn't. Only one enemy. This is cool. Okay. So we're not going to do the most powerful version of what we could do, but we are still going to have fun. So first thing I want to do is I actually want to give Kiryu slightly more stuff here. I want to give him his big old fat, if you know what I mean, war cry. Oh yeah. Triple attack right off the bat. Now I am going to summon Nancy here for 5,000. This has a pretty good chance to poison, which would already be the damaging status ailment. So poisoned already. So now we're going to try to do something that's like, oh, hey, maybe you can do something that lowers their, like put them to sleep, right? We have one snooze. I thought I gave him something specifically for this video though. Give him a cold. Okay, that's not what I want. So let's see if we can put him to sleep. Because we are kind of trying to show off this specific class. Normally I would not do this. I would just keep dealing damage. But that's not what this is about. Alright, cold, attack, cash, attack, magic, item. This is the one that could do charm. And I don't want to accidentally kill him, though. That's the issue. Obviously, this team isn't perfectly set up for this. I don't have all my characters back yet. He's weak to fire. Uh-oh. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to... We're going to accidentally miss the Y. That's my bad. All right. Now, this one is actually pretty easy. We could... You have a great way to blind. You have a great way to sleep. It's gonna work. Yeah! Stay asleep. All right, check this out. Now we have a guaranteed crit against a sleeping enemy, and we could even use like Essence of the Dragon God, right? I think we're guaranteed to crit with this. Essence of well, this also does. Oh, he's resistant to it. That won't be fun. He is weak to fire. All right, let's see how much damage we do. This is obviously not the perfect fight, but we don't need to watch this. Ah, it's hard to tell how much damage he did. But you understand, all right? You understand. All right, so I couldn't find an enemy with enough HP in the part of the game I'm at right now to really demonstrate the full damage that it could do. But I think it kind of gets the point across. This is a combo build-around type of class. Job. Sorry, I'm just going to keep making that mistake, but I'll still try to correct it. It's very, very fun, and it's cool. I do think it requires, like I said, you got to build around it. You got to have some teammates that are going to help you out. But honestly, that's pretty good. If you have like, I've been doing it with like a full magic team, and it works pretty good. The thing is, if you have a samurai in your team and you want to inflict bleed on your enemy on 2 of your characters, suddenly it's getting a lot better, right? Like if you have both your characters trying to apply bleed because both your characters are going to get a lot of damage from it. This character is going to get critical hit chance. The samurai is just going to get a lot more damage. Maybe you have 2 desperados. I don't know if you want to have that many. But you know what I mean. You could even have a chef. A chef also wants the enemy to bleed, but the issue with the chef is they kind of remove the bleed after they're done. Like a lot of it will be like, one of them will be like, oh, even though it has a high chance of doing bleed, this one will like, oh, it removes the bleed afterwards, but it greatly decreases a random stat. But also, one thing I think you want to get onto Desperado is probably the Vanquishing Pan. I don't remember if I did that in the beginning, but it's a 1 enemy heavy knockback, but it does extra damage the more status ailment. So I assume at 1 status ailment, this is going to go from like a heavy to extreme, or it might take both to get to extreme. Again, there's a lot of abilities, and without specific percentages and numbers, it's hard to know what specific ability is going to do the most damage. But I do think that it's absolutely worth it. Plus, if you have a chef on the team, they could just be inflicting bleed every single, like, you know, easy for them to inflict bleed. They have tons of ways to do that. But the samurai does too. So a lot of it is just very synergistic, and inflicting status elements is not that bad, and it's not as hard as I thought it would be. They're not that good. Like, inflicting bleed is not that powerful, but inflicting bleed and then getting guaranteed crits, that's pretty damn good, because you're doing a lot of damage with a crit, especially when you're increasing your crit damage and doing this, that, and the other thing. Anyway, that's all for today with the Desperado. Much love. I'll go over the other jobs in a little bit. If there's any other videos that you think you want to see, let me know. We're on our way to 10K subs, so if you like, subscribe, and comment, all that stuff, it helps out. If you don't do that, that's fine too. Much love. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. See you on the flip flaps. Bye.